The last type of loan we're going to look at in this section are mortgages. A home mortgage is an installment loan designed specifically to finance a home. The down payment is the amount of money you must pay up front in order to be given a mortgage or other loan. Closing costs are fees you must pay in order to be given the loan. These include direct fees, including appraisal fees and credit checks, as well as fees that are charged as points, where each point is 1% of the loan amount. A fixed rate mortgage is one in which the interest rate is guaranteed over the life of the loan. An adjustable rate mortgage, on the other hand, is one where the interest rate adjusts based on the prevailing rates. So adjusts based on the prevailing rates. So let's take a look at a couple different mortgage options and make a comparison between the two. So example 6, you need a $275,000 loan to buy a house. Compare the monthly payments and total loan costs for the following pairs of loan options. Assume both loans are fixed rate and have the same closing costs. Discuss the pros and cons of each loan. Option 1 is a 30-year loan at an APR of 5%, while option 2 is a 15-year loan at 4%. So let's look at option 1 first. So option 1, first we want to know the payment that we would need to have at that 30-year loan APR of 5% option. So the payment, PMT, in Excel will have the APR of 0.05 divided by the number of payments we'll make each year, which is 12. 12 times the 30 years that we'll have the loan, and then we need the loan amount, so $275,000. Okay, and then in Excel we'll get our monthly payment, which is going to be $1,476.26 per month. So it's going to cost just shy of $1,500 a month for this 30-year loan. Now, how much is it going to cost us over the entire life of the loan? So over those 30 years, how much are we going to end up paying? So we're going to pay the $1,476.26 each month for 12 months each year times 30 years. And that comes out to, if you can believe it, $531,453.60 is what you're going to pay out over the life of the loan. During the life of the loan. So that's how much we're going to pay. So how much interest then are we paying? Well, everything beyond the $275,000 that we took the loan out for will be interest that we have paid. So we're paying the difference between $531,453.60 and the $275,000 that our loan is valued at. And that is going to give us $256,453.60 that we're paying in interest when we go to that 30-year mortgage at 5%. So in terms of the percent of our total payment that we are putting towards interest, we can calculate that as well. So the percent of interest that we're paying is, we're going to take the amount of interest that we are paying, so this guy here, and we're going to divide that, so 256,453.60, so $256,453.60. We're going to divide that by the total amount we're paying, so that's $531,453.60. And taking that ratio, we're going to get a decimal of 0.48, or 48% of what we pay into this mortgage is going towards interest. Okay, so let's take a look at the other option. Let's see if that's any better. So option 2 Option 2, again, we need to come up first of all with the payment that we'll have each month. So in Excel, we'll do a payment function. The interest rate on the 15-year loan is just 4%, so 0.04 divided by the number of payments per year, then 12 times the number of years that we'll be having this loan, which is 15 years, and then the amount of the loan for the mortgage. That'll be 275,000, so 275,000. And that's going to give us a monthly payment of $2,034.14. So this is definitely a higher monthly payment that we're working with when we take that 15-year mortgage, even at a lower interest rate. So let's find out how much that's going to cost us then over the life of the loan. How much will we end up paying? So the $2,034.14 each month for 12 months each year times 15 years though, and that's going to come out to $366,145.20. So this is actually considerably less than what we were paying with the 30-year option. So that's looking like, oh goodness, almost $200,000 less. So the total amount of interest we're paying will be the difference between the total we pay out and how much the loan was. So that's the 366,145.20. So the amount that we paid altogether towards the cost of the house minus the 275, which was the actual value of the house and the loan amount we originally took out. And that's going to make it $91,145.20 in interest. So again, we can compare those two numbers that we had. Here was the interest over here for the 30-year loan versus the interest that we're seeing over here for the 15-year loan. Quite a bit less, like 100 and some odd thousand, 160,000 almost less. Okay, so then how about the percent of interest that we're paying? Let's see if we can look at it that way. So percent interest will be the amount of interest, the $91,145.20, divided by the total amount we paid, which is the $366,145.20, so $366,145.20. When we find that as a decimal, we have 0.25, or about 25% of the amount we paid in this mortgage is towards interest. So there is a little bit more clear number for us. When we take the 30-year option, we're going to end up shelling out in our total 48% of our payment is going to go towards interest, whereas with the 15% loan, only 25% of our payments are going to go towards interest. So clearly, if you can afford it, a 15-year mortgage is going to come out with a lot better value for you in the long run. So you will definitely save a lot of money in interest payments. However, that all depends on whether or not you can afford the payment in the first place. So we are having an increase in payment that is non-negligible for a lot of people. So we're looking at a difference of a $2,034.14 payment and a $1,476.26 payment. And so that's going to be, let's take a look at that, $2,034.14 minus $1,476.26. So we're looking at a difference of $557.88. So $557.88 more for the 15-year loan option. But if you can afford that extra $557.88, in the long run, you're going to be saving yourself a huge amount in interest over those extra years. Here's another mortgage comparison. Example 7. Consider the following pairs of mortgage options for a $220,000 mortgage. Calculate the mortgage payment and total closing costs for each option. Explain which option you would choose and why. Our first option is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 4.25% with closing costs of $1,000 and no points. Option 2 is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 3.5% with closing costs of $1,500 and 4 points. So first let's take a look at option 1. Option 1 is going to need to find its payment. So its payment, PMT, we'll calculate in Excel, and we're going to put in our fixed rate of 0.0425. That's divided by the number of payments we make each year, 12. And then we take the number of payments times the number of years. This is a 30-year mortgage. And then we're going to put in the amount that we're borrowing. And that's going to be our present value of $220,000. And so our payment in this option is going to come out to $1,082.27. Option 2 is going to also need to have its payment calculated. So option 2, we also need our payment, so PMT, and that's going to be its interest rate of 0.035 divided by 12, and then 12 times the number of years, and this is also a 30-year mortgage, and then we're putting in the amount we're borrowing, $220,000. And then the payment we get here is going to be $987.90. So we're going to see a lower monthly payment because of that lowered interest rate. Now the thing that changes between these two as well is going to be our closing costs. So the closing costs for option 1, closing costs, which are not being part of our loan. We don't include this in our loan, but it is going to be part of our total cost of the house. So the closing costs in option 1 are just a straight $1,000, no additional charges. So the closing costs are just equal to $1,000. In option 2, however, the closing costs, oops, let's change that back over, closing costs are going to be a combination of those fees of $1,500. So that'll be $1,500 plus 4 points. So remember, each point is 1% of our loan amount. So we're going to have 4 of those 1% of $220,000. So putting that all in our calculator, that's going to come out to actually $10,300 in closing costs for option 2. So we can see that while our payment is lower with option 2, we have upfront costs that are actually $9,300 higher. All right, so let's see if we can do some evaluation of these differences to see which one is the better option. So first of all, the difference in monthly payments. So you are going to have a cost of option 2 that is going to be less. So how much less? So option 2 will cost, let's see, $1,082.27 minus $987.90 is going to give us a difference of $94.37 per month less. Okay, so option 2 is going to cost $94.37 less each month. So that's the type of savings we're getting on a monthly basis. However, up front it cost us $9,300 more thanks to those closing costs. So, but it will cost, so $10,300 minus $1,000, which is $9,300 more in closing costs. Those costs. Okay, So how many months do we need to be in the house before our monthly payment savings offsets this additional closing cost for option 2? So that's one way we can decide. So if we're only going to be in the house for a short time and not enough time to make up for the extra cost of the closing, then we would probably want to just stick with option 1. However, if we're going to be staying long enough, then the savings from the monthly payments are going to offset those extra closing costs, and we'll end up being ahead by the end of our time with the house. So let's take a look and see how many months will it take before the savings from option 2's lower payment will pay for the extra costs in closing costs. So that means we're going to take the $9,300 in extra closing costs and find out how many 9437s go into that. So 9437. And this is going to give us how many months it's going to take to make up that $9,300 from the savings. And that's going to be 98.5 approximately months. And in terms of years, dividing that by 12, about 8.2 years. So if we plan to stay in the house for longer than 8.2 years, then going with option 2 is the better choice. So we're going to go with option 2 if you will be in the house for more than 8.2 years. Then you just keep getting the extra savings. Then you benefit from the payment savings. Otherwise, go with option 1. Otherwise, option 1, since that's going to be cheaper upfront in terms of those closing costs. Let's try another mortgage example and try putting a bunch of this information together. So example 8, total cost. You have found your dream house. After a $50,000 down payment, your mortgage will be $375,000 and your bank is offering a fixed 30-year loan at 4.25% APR. The closing costs are $2,500 plus 3 points. So our first question is, what will your monthly payments be? So payments we'll find in Excel, and that is going to be given by the function including arguments 0.0425 as our APR divided by 12, our number of payments each year. Those 12 payments each year times the 30 years that we'll be making payments, and then our present value, or the amount of the loan that we have taken out, is $375,000. So our monthly payments will end up being $1,844.77. So $1,844.77. Now I'm going to over here also calculate how much all those payments are going to add up to over the 30 years, just to have that kind of tucked and out of the way. So we're going to have $1,844.77 per month times 12 months times 30 years. And that's going to end up at $664,117.20 for the amount that just our payments are going to add to. So that's going to be the amount of payments. So in payments over the 30 years. Okay, so the next question is asking, what are the closing costs? So the closing costs are the sum of the $2,500 in fees plus the fees associated with those 3 points. So that'll be $2,500 plus 3 1% points of the total amount of our loan, which is $375,000. So adding those together, we're going to have closing costs of $13,750. So that's how much it's going to cost for us to take out the loan. And that's separate from what the mortgage amount itself is. We're not including that in our loan amount or our payment amount. That's separate. So now we want to come up with the total cost for the dream house. And there's a few different pieces that go into this. So our total cost is going to be made up of, first of all, our down payment. So we needed to put a down payment down in order to start the process. So a down payment. Then we need to pay our closing costs. So the closing costs will need to be added in. Costs. And then we actually have the payments we make each month after we take possession of the house. So that's plus all the payments. So there's those three different parts that are going to go into our total cost. So in terms of our down payment, that was $50,000. That was stated in the opening problem. Plus our closing costs. Well, we just calculated those to be $13,750. Plus the total of all our payments over the 30 years, which we had calculated over here just for this reason. So that's going to be $664,117.20 in payments. So when we add those three different pieces together, we'll come up with our total cost of owning this home, and that is going to be $727,867.20, a lot more than the $375,000 that the house was priced at. So what percent of the total cost is interest? And again, the of signals that the next part is going to be our denominator, and what is the percent of interest. So we're going to set up our percent interest calculation as the amount of interest. So we need to find out how much interest we actually paid. So that is another calculation we'll do over on the side up here. So interest, remember, is going to be the difference between what we pay in our payments and what we took out as a loan. Interest has nothing to do with the closing cost or with the down payment. So we're not worrying about it over in this other part of our calculation. We're just focusing on the amount that our payments added up to compared to with the loan amount that we took out. So the interest is going to be equal to the $664,117.20 that we made in payments minus the $375,000 that we were actually trying to pay off. The difference between those two numbers is the amount of interest that was paid. And so that's going to be $292,117.20 in interest. So then when we do the percent interest, we can bring that number back down to be the numerator in our ratio. So that'll be $292,117.20 divided by, and again, we want the total cost in our denominator. So including the down payment and including the closing costs. So that's $727,867.20. And what that ratio comes to is in a decimal 0.40, or 40% of the total costs towards this house is in interest. That's a lot of interest. I mean, it's a pretty big investment, and the bank is having to go through a fair bit of risk to offer you that money, but still, that 15-year mortgage is looking pretty good in order to keep those numbers down. Let's take one last look at an example here. Example 9. You have the choice between a 30-year fixed rate loan at 4% and an ARM or adjustable rate mortgage with a first-year rate of 2.5%. Neglecting compounding and changes in principal, estimate your monthly savings with the adjustable rate mortgage during the first year on a $325,000 loan. So the first thing we want to look at is what kind of savings are we getting from this adjustable rate mortgage. And in terms of the interest rate, we are saving between 4% and 2.5%, so 1.5% savings in that first year with the adjustable rate mortgage. So we're going to save 1.5% with the adjustable rate mortgage. So the 1.5% as a decimal, 0.015, we're going to be saving that 1.5% on our loan amount. So that'll be on $325,000. Multiplying those together, we get $4,875. So $4,875 is the dollar amount we expect to save in that first year with the adjustable rate mortgage. Now, how much does that end up being in terms of monthly? So $4,875 saved in the first year. And so that'll translate to 4,875 divided by 12. So divide by 12, that's going to be $406.25 per month. So $406.25 per month in savings. So the adjustable rate mortgage actually makes a pretty big impact on your monthly payments, but again, there's going to be a consequence when the rate adjusts up higher after your term has ended, and then you could suddenly see yourself strapped with not just this $400 included in your payments again, but then even more so, because often it'll adjust to a higher interest rate than what the fixed rates were. Okay, so suppose that the ARM rate rises to 5.5% at the start of the second year. Approximately how much extra will you then be paying over what you would have paid had you taken the fixed rate loan? So now we're working in the other direction. So now our ARM rate is 1.5% higher than it would have been with the fixed rate loan. So now we are going to be paying 1.5% more with the ARM than the fixed rate, So how much is that going to turn out being? Well, again, we have the 0.015, and this is still going to just be on that $325,000 because we're ignoring some of the other yucky details right now. So $325,000. This is the same calculation as this previous problem though, so we know that this is going to be $4,875 that we're going to have to be spending beyond what the fixed rate mortgage payment would have been, so more than the fixed rate option. So monthly, we're going to have that same $406.25 per month, but now this is going to be more. So we'll be paying $406.25 more than the fixed payment each month. So while it can sound really good on that first year or your introductory period at the lower rate, that adjustable rate mortgage sounds awesome. The savings of $406 per month. But then when it comes back to resetting, you're often going to see something like this example where you're going to be paying beyond what the fixed rate mortgage would have been, and usually about the same amount that you were saving in the first few years. So be cautious with those adjustable rate mortgages.